water is being diverted, the first response will be, you're not efficiently using the water you have, so how can you say whether it's being diverted? So what we have concluded in working with your water experts, and I have a list of the kinds of projects we're doing, is that the most important thing is to rehabilitate the existing water system, to construct more water storage. We're doing that in Jacobabad and Peshawar municipal water, to work to improve the capacity of local authorities, because we held in this strategic dialogue the first meeting ever in Pakistan of national and provincial and local water authorities, because they're not talking to each other and they're not providing the kind of roadmap that is needed. So we're doing dam irrigation projects and high efficiency irrigation projects. So my point is not that there will not be disputes. There very well may be, because the 21st century, I fear, will have many disputes over water across the world. Absolutely. It's something that we are trying to avoid. But in order to go into any mediation, we've got to work together to fix the existing system inside Pakistan, so that whoever the mediators are, they don't say, well, come back when you've gotten your own usage more efficient and you've fixed your canals and you've fixed your irrigation, etc.
So the Council of Common Interest has identified the Pasha Dam, or the building of Pasha Dam, as crucial to their water problem. If asked, would you fund it?
Well, we are funding, the ones that we have listed today are the ones that were at the top of the priority list that we were provided. And what we're trying to do is not substitute our judgment for anybody else's judgment in Pakistan. What we want to do is respond to the needs that have been identified. So we're going to be looking at all of the needs and trying to figure out how to prioritize the funding among them.
And that includes Pasha Dam as well?
It includes, the ones that...
today the announcement you have made is about Gomalzam Dam, Satpara Dam.
Yes.
But not the Pasha Dam.
But not the Pasha Dam.
No, that's not on the list.
Okay, but in future it can be in the list.
Oh, we're going to continue to assess all of the needs, but there's a lot that goes into this. I mean, part of it is getting agreement between the federal government, the provincial, and the local government. Part of it is doing a needs assessment to determine what the most efficient use of resources is, because what you're trying to do is solve the immediate problems more quickly.
Actually, ma'am, sorry for interrupting,
Yes.
because I have that list which you have made announcements. The generation of electricity is about 17.36 megawatts from Satpara Dam, and similarly 17.4 megawatts from Gomalzam Dam. We are energy deficient country, rather stressed, and there's a big gap between demand and supply, prolonged load shedding.
Right.
So Pasha Dam will serve the purpose. Plus, can you tell the Pakistani audience that do you have any plans of giving us civilian nuclear technology on the pattern and scale which you have given to India? I'm talking about Indo-US nuclear accord. Pakistan can expect from US that it will also be provided with the same technology, so that we can fulfill our energy demands. And as you have mentioned, and I have a quote that you said on the eve of interministerial conference in Washington, that the success will not be determined by how governments gather in summits, but by the actions and translating that relationship into some sort of benefit for the people who are living in cities and villages. From the people's perspective, people want to know that we would be able to get that civilian nuclear technology.
Well, let me start at the beginning of your question, and then I will get to that. One of the things we're doing is a study about smart grid and distribution of electricity, because one of the problems is if you just go around creating power plants and you don't have a distribution transmission system that can actually deliver the power, you may have done a little bit, but you haven't done enough to deal with the energy needs of Pakistan. So we're looking at how we help the Pakistani government create an energy system. And that requires not just looking at every form of energy, which we are, but also how it is put together and delivered. Now, in our dialogue with the Pakistani government, we have clearly said we will work with them on civil nuclear energy. It took years to do it with India. but we are committed to pursuing it and trying to overcome the obstacles that might stand in the way, because we think it is important to get as much of a varied source of energy, all connected to the grid, and all being able to prevent the load shedding that now is such a difficult problem for
Especially
people.
in this season.
Well, it is. And I was told today that the average urban resident in Pakistan loses at least 6 hours a day, but the average rural resident loses from 8 to 12 hours a day. So it's not only a very unfortunate problem for individuals, but for business, for industry as well.
Just, Munizar, you wanted to ask a question very
Right.
quickly.
Secretary of State, thank you so much for coming here. Very warm welcome and thank you for this opportunity. Now, underlying all of these problems is, of course, security. And one of my questions to you is, because you're going to be leaving for Afghanistan tonight, how can you bring sustainable peace in Afghanistan without playing a proactive role in resolving differences between India and Pakistan, especially with the latest logjam? Are you going to do anything to perhaps play a proactive role in, removing that logjam that has happened?
Well, two aspects to your question. One, we stand ready to encourage, as we have done, the dialogue between India and Pakistan. We think it is absolutely in both countries' interests. I happen to think, on balance, it's even more in Pakistan's interest, because opening markets, every businessman I speak with in Pakistan kind of whispers to me, please, can't we get the markets open, because I want to go compete inside India. So there are many ramifications to the long-standing disputes over Kashmir and other issues between India and Pakistan. So even though the officials of both governments have been meeting, we want to encourage much more dialogue. With respect to Afghanistan, there was an important event last night here in Islamabad, the signing of the Afghanistan-Pakistan Trade Transit Accord. This is an agreement that was begun in the 1960s. But because of mistrust and historical problems between Afghanistan and Pakistan, it never was resolved. Finally, both governments decided to sign it, and I was privileged to witness that along with Prime Minister Gilani. Why is that important? Well, because part of the way you fight the insurgency and the extremists is through economic opportunity. And the more economic opportunity that we can generate inside Pakistan and Afghanistan, the more people will turn away from being persuaded to engage in extremist activities and instead look for a different path. This agreement will permit goods from Pakistan to go right through Afghanistan into Central Asia. And right now, it's very difficult. If you unload a freighter with cargo in Karachi, it's very difficult to get it out of Pakistan. You know that. This will give merchants and businesses in Pakistan a straight shot into a whole new market. At the same time, it will give Afghanistan, which is trying to develop a business base, the chance to come and trade with you. So these are steps, all of which are important to take. They're not going to change everything overnight, but there needs to be more trust built up between Afghanistan and Pakistan while we try to work on the long-standing issues between India and Pakistan.
Secretary, I'd just like to follow that up.
I have to take a break. Just quickly, you make a quick comment and I have to take a break. Yeah.
Well, I'll just like to follow that up. Like you said that, economic opportunities, but till the security situation is not addressed, economic opportunities cannot come our way. Now, regarding Kashmir, right now Kashmir is burning and the stone pelters are being killed, not the militants on the streets. And now there are pictures of these young teenagers who want to take on and want to join Jaish-e-Mohammed. And we all know Jaish-e-Mohammed has fought against NATO troops in Afghanistan and in Pakistan. So then how will you eradicate militancy from this part of the region without addressing the core issues?
Well, that's one of the most important challenges that we face together. It would be preferable, it would be, in my view, necessary to create more of an understanding and resolve these long-standing disputes. And we should work as hard as we can to encourage the leadership of Pakistan and India to persevere despite the attacks in both countries. You know, I really give the leadership in both countries high marks because it is not popular. They are attacked in the press, they're attacked by organizations, but it would be so much in the interest of long-term security and economic opportunity to try to resolve these disputes. In the meantime, however, we can't wait for that to happen because you're right, the extremists continue to recruit, and that's something that threatens everyone, particularly people in Pakistan. So we have to operate on many different levels at once.
Thank you, Secretary. Let me take a break. I know, Nadeem, that you really want to ask a question, but I'll ask you the first question after break. We're here with the Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton. Just let us take a break and stay with us.